G'day cocktail lovers, I hope you've been keeping well. Hope you're ready for another cocktail. This is going to be a gin cocktail to mark World Gin Day on June 12. And by great fortuitous timing, I've recently got from Steve the Bartender, the Steve the Bartender gin. Him and his mates, three bartenders got together, made their own gins under the name Threefold, and he actually sent me a bottle because he's a legend. And I think if you're watching me, you know who Steve the Bartender is. I find it really hard to believe you wouldn't, but if you don't, he's without doubt by a long way the biggest cocktail channel in Australia for YouTube, and he's top bloke. He sent me some gin. So just in time for World Gin Day, and so I looked through the gin cocktails. There's really well-known ones, and this one just looked really good. You know, sometimes the photography of the thing gets you. This is a really simple 3-ingredient cocktail, and I think you could do some substitutions if you don't have the exact things that's in it. It's called I just had to look at my notes. It's called an angel's face. I blanked momentarily. But it's a simple, equal parts, 3-ingredient cocktail, but I'm also going to do an experiment with those ratios later on, and I'm going to do a comparison, so stay tuned for that. Speaking of staying tuned, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, it'd be great if you did, so you come back and see more. Upload usually at least 2 or 3 videos a week exploring cocktails, and there's so much to explore in there. It's well worth coming back, so I hope you do. But in the meantime, we're going to make an angel's face. First up, the gin component, 1 ounce, so like I said, equal parts. First up the gin, 30 mils or 1 ounce of gin. The recipe also calls for 1 ounce of applejack or apple brandy. The most famous applejack, I think, in America is the Laird's one. Now, some people might go, oh, that's not the bottled in bond. To the best of my knowledge, you can't get that in Australia. Everyone says, well, that's the better one, and it's higher proof as well. This is the only one I've been able to find in Australia, but I do like it. It's quite good. So we're now going to add 30 mils or 1 ounce of applejack. The final touch is apricot liqueur. I think you could probably substitute some other fruit liqueurs and get some interesting outcomes in this, but it calls for apricot liqueur, and I have some from this interesting Croatian distiller that mysteriously I've ended up with 3 of their liqueurs, just because they're at the local bottle shop, but they're very good. And this one is going in 1 ounce, 30 mils of apricot liqueur. This is a stirred cocktail, so we add ice to our mixing glass, using Gaz Regan's finger to get some stirring magic. I don't think I have to stir this long because there's no high booze content in here. That should be enough. Now I'm going to strain this into a Nick and Nora glass. You could use a coupe, whatever glassware you have on hand. I happen to really like this one. So just strain that in. If you're worried about ice shards, you might want to fine strain it. But I love that colour. That looks really good. But what does it taste like? It's nice. It's really light. Steve's gin, the Threefold Gin, is a bit citrus forward. It's an aromatic gin with some grapefruit in there as well. The applejack, of course, has that sort of apple cider flavour in there, and the fruit. None of them are dominating. They actually work quite well together. But now for my experiments. This is an equal parts cocktail, and of course there are a lot of classic equal parts cocktails. And yeah, as I said, smarter people than me swear by equal parts. But I often like to experiment, see, can you change this up so one element of the drink is the hero rather than everything being equal parts? Sometimes you get great results. Sometimes you find out why they made it with equal parts because it was really balanced. But I want to try an experiment now. I'm going to make the Threefold Gin the hero. I'm going to go up it from 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces, and I'm going to scale back the other 2 to balance out, make them both 3/4 of an ounce. So it's going to be the same volume overall, but twice as much gin as the other components. And then I'm going to taste test a comparison. I realised I forgot the garnish. It's recommended simple orange peel garnish, so I'm just going to peel a bit of orange. This is why I don't do garnishes, because I'm terrible at it. I'm going to peel a bit of orange and just express the oils over the top and do a twist and drop it in. Through the magic of editing, I have both drinks now. This is the one with the extra gin in it, so I'm going to have a taste of it. Oh, okay, the orange peel garnish did improve things. You get that orange oil aroma and taste straight up, which is really pleasant. Now you might be shocked to learn this, but this version, the gin is more forward. So this actually holds true to my theory that you often get a good result in an equal parts cocktail by changing it up and making one component the hero. Look, I think the results are going to vary from drink to drink and depending on what ingredients you have. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out as an experiment. Next time you're making a cocktail and it's an equal parts one. And again, these modern classics and the older classics that are equal parts, you know, they're still around for a reason because they're good. But it's a fun little experiment to make one of the components the hero. To me, the gin was the obvious one in here because I'm making it for World Gin Day. But yeah, you could make the applejack the central thing. I wouldn't make the liqueur the central one, but you could certainly make the applejack the central one if you're a big applejack fan. And that goes for any equal parts cocktail. It's a fun experiment, seeing how big a difference it is. But I am double fisting for World Gin Day because that's just how I roll, basically. And however you roll, I hope you're doing well. I hope it's going well. I'd say give this a go. This is the equal parts. Which is really nice. And this would be, okay, if someone is going like, I don't really like gin cocktail, this would ease them in because the balance, the equal parts of the three things, the gin's not dominating, but it's there. But if you're a gin fan, I definitely recommend doing it with gin as the hero. And the fact that the Threefold, besides the usual gin aromatics, also has that grapefruit in it, is going quite well, I think, with the apricot and the apple cider flavours. This is a win. So thanks once more to Steve for sending me that Threefold. It's absolutely awesome. And it is a really nice gin, and he's got a couple other ones I'm going to have to get a hold of and try. But for now, I've got 2 cocktails I'm going to finish, so I'm going to be happy for a while. I hope you're happy too, wherever you are. Take care of yourself, take care of the people around you. Until I see you again, and I'll probably be back on my double fisting bullshit again. Cheers!